Hello, Requinate7 here, and welcome to a brand new stream and brand new game of Rule the Waves 2. So anyone who doesn't know what this game is, it's a fantastic game for a start. However, it's not the prettiest. It's a bit like these old kind of spreadsheet games. There's a little bit of graphics. But anyway, this game called Rule the Waves 2 is all about naval design and shipbuilding and ship combat from 1900s and 1950s, kind of the frame of it at the minute. You take control of a country's navy. You don't take control of a country as a whole, and you completely in control of the ship designs, the ships they build, and during the wars you're in complete control of the combat. You are not in control. You can influence it, but you're not in control of who you go to war with. You don't get to choose who you pick fights with. You're not in control of when the peace happens, but you do get to make some claims from what you want to take during that peace. So it's an interesting one in that you're much more. It fits you much more in the role of the navy commander rather than a country commander. But the main core of the game is designing and building and fighting with ships. I would say that if any of you are familiar with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, which is a game in early access, essentially it's a modernized version of not this is an old game, but it's a version of this game in a 3D engine. And I think if Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts nails it properly, then that might be the end for this classic title. But I say classic, I mean like it's literally a couple of years old. Also worth handing out the guy. So it's made by one man. So kudos to him, and he is actually working on expansion to take it from like the 18 something through to like 1970s. So start with wooden ships, end with like missile tech. He's planning on building a scope, right? But for this run, we are going to be playing as Austria-Hungary, and I will admit this is not the very start of the game. Actually, we are nine years in, and this was it's a run I actually started back in November. I think I played the first 9 years, and really enjoyed it. Whale of time, great start as well, and then I kind of got pulled away into other things and always want to come back to it. And obviously doing a bit of streaming, I thought it'd be great to stream this, so I thought, sod it, we're just going to jump in and go from here. So we are playing as Austria-Hungary, or Austro-Hungary, what you want to call us. And this is the world map, and you can see there are flags on the map showing who owns kind of what provinces. So we have our kind of home couple provinces here. As you can see, we have taken a couple of expandings around the Mediterranean. So we've taken Rhodes, we've taken Libya, and we've taken Sardinia. And so the reason we now will know is that in the first couple of years we actually went to war with Italy and gave them a proper stomping. We have a quick look at the almanac. You can see in that first war that we had, we sank about 8 of their battleships, a whole host of heavy cruisers, a number of lights, and a whole bunch of dreadnoughts. We absolutely whomped them. It was really enjoyable. And so I want to keep going this run. If we look at our navy, so what we've got at the minute. And this is so when you start these games, you can choose to either just be given a legacy fleet, or you can choose to kind of build your own with a budget. And I did build my own. Now I will admit I'm not an expert in this game. In fact, this will be my real second serious playthrough. So I did one full one as the US, which is nice because it's unforgiving. It's a little bit forgiving. You've got a lot of resources in case things go awry. And this will be my second run through. So I'm probably only about 60 odd hours in the game. So I know enough, know what I'm doing, but I also know enough to know that I'm far off being an expert in it. However, I did have a go at designing my own navy. So we have these battleships, or dreadnoughts, I should say, not battleships. I thought it calls a battleship, but essentially it's a dreadnought. And this was kind of the mainstay of our fleet. So 4 12-inch guns, 2 turrets, a whole bunch of 6-inch secondaries and casemates, and a couple of tertiaries. 9-inch ships. Decent. Not very fast. It was 18 knots. In fact, not very fast at all. And to be honest, I'd probably built too many of them, so I got 5 of them. We've got our heavy cruisers, which are actually, they perform really well, to be fair. 4 10-inch guns, again 2 turrets. We get a whole bunch of secondaries, again 6-inch secondaries in turrets. These go a little bit faster. Getting a little bit dated now, but they're doing okay. Then we've got ourselves some light cruisers, so they're rocking some 6-inch guns on singles, and then our rubbish destroyers, which are just rocking one 4-inch gun, but are mainly here for well, there's torpedoes, and then corvettes, which are just for trade protection. Yeah, so and we have one now newly built battleship, the Kaiser, who's rocking lovely 13-inch in 4 turrets. So we'll get a broadside of 6, which is reasonable. We are currently allied to Britain and Germany, so we're in a pretty strong position, and we are once again beaten up on Italy, so I thought it would be a good place to start. In terms of our monies, we're essentially balancing the books at the minute, so we've got a spare balance of like 123, which is nothing, essentially. So we're currently spending 12. Well, I need to say, I always view this in my mind as 12 million. It's kind of how I fabricate it. Yeah, so total expense of 2 million, so we've got like 100k spare essentially, and that's primarily because we are building 2 more cages. I kind of probably gone a little bit OTT on the big ships here, but so be it. And in fact, I can't even afford to build them both because this guy is on hold, which you see what this H here is for. But that's okay, we'll get them out, and we'll probably try and mothball, or not mothball, decommission some of our older dreadnoughts. So yeah, in terms of our holdings, we do have a number of kind of 6-inch batteries around our. These are just our main holdings. I even put in some 12 inches, which yeah, I'm always on the fence about whether they're worth it, but might see them pop up in a battle or two. I think the best thing to do is just to jump forward a turn and to see if we get enough into a fight with the Italian Navy. Right. Just before we do that, I'm just going to change this. Music settings. Seems to be permanently playing the same song over and over, which is pretty irritating. Why don't you give us some of that? Right, we'll see how that goes. Okay. Yep, so we can have a look at what ships we've got here. Obviously we've got our full navy is in here. Oh yeah, and I should probably mention what's the purpose of this playthrough. So I'm really looking purely to secure the Mediterranean. That's it. That's all I'm interested in. You will notice in our navy here that actually all our capital ships are short-ranged. Short-ranged means obviously limited kind of travel span from your bases. It also means when you're at war, you cannot move sea zones. So you can't move between these boxes. But that's fine by me. All I want to do is secure the Mediterranean. Also makes life a lot easier if you don't have overseas holdings, as that gets irritating with kind of you've got to have permanent ship presence, and it's a bit finicky. So I thought it's also probably a good one for a stream, as it's a little less kind of intensive, labor intensive for moving ships around, which isn't interesting, but you need to do it to manage overseas stuff. Yeah, and you see we've got a whole bunch of coastal submarines as well, which we have on unrestricted warfare. So we'll see how it goes. Let's just go forward. Right, we've got battle. So anyone who's not familiar with this game, definite thing we talk about is the battle generator. Both a strength and a curse of this game. Basically what happens is that it just auto-generates a fight between yourself and someone you're at war with in one of the places you both have ships, and it decides what you're going to have. So it could be a full fleet engagement, it could be a minor skirmish with destroyers, with cruisers, it could be a raid on convoys. It makes minds up. It also decides the forces you have in the fight, and the composition of your fleet. So you don't get to set your fleet. It all does it for you. And that is the real weakness here, because obviously if you're a navy or admiral, you'd set yourself and say, hey, this is how I want my ships to go around. I'm going to throw in, battleship, 2 cruisers and 4 destroyers are going around as a task force. You don't get to do that. It also, because of this, it really favours quality over quantity when it comes to navies, which is probably advantageous for us as a smaller nation, Austria-Hungary, because you can build smaller, more quality ships, and they're going to get in more fights, and hopefully we can just beat up the kind of mass chuff that everyone else has. But anyway, so for this one, so we have 5 battleship, or dreadnoughts, whatever you want to call them, 3 heavy cruisers, 5 light cruisers, and 11 destroyers. Well, they have 4, 1, 3, and 3. Yeah, whatever. We're going to take the fight. So you can say no, you can say nah, I'm not fighting it, and you give away victory points, and that's how the war score is calculated. So you can see we're massively ahead at the minute. Let's just jump in and see what a battle looks like. So as you can see, you can just jump in onto the world map. You've got the kind of day-night cycle. You can see these lines coming down here. And this is what your formation looks like. Kind of zoom in a little bit to see the ship icons, and you'll see where when you've got selected down here. And that's it. So this is, I'm afraid this is as pretty as it gets, but it is good. Oh, I just noticed OBS is pretty horrendous time at looking at this. So I'm just going to jump in from post here, just to let you know that the kind of visual issue that I was noticing on my preview of OBS was actually limited to the preview that I was getting and didn't transpire onto the stream or onto the video you're looking at now. So I do a little bit of kind of faffing around in this first battle, trying to fix a visual issue that doesn't actually exist. So what I'll do in this kind of post-recording is I'm going to cut out a few segments of me kind of faffing over during the course of this battle. So if you do notice a couple of skips in the audio over the next 5 minutes, I'm just trying to save yourself some time where I fiddle with settings unnecessarily. But it all works out and we get a kind of good visual picture going forward, so nothing to worry about there. See, I think once the daylight comes in it should clear up, but that is pretty unfortunate. Look at how I can deal with that between streams. We can just hit run. We are pretty close to the dawn, and you see it just it does run in real time. Our ships will sail about as oh, where you run, please. Oh, turn. Where's run? There we go. No, that's the button I'm looking for. You can tell it's been a wee while since I've played. And you can, so currently these little triangle ones show it's AI controlled, and they're currently kind of falling around our light cruisers. So as you can see, although it said we had all those forces in the area, the fight it's actually given us is 2 light cruisers and a bunch of destroyers against something. Don't know quite what it is yet. And here we go, unknown ship sighted. So you can see, so kind of these different circles. So the grey, do you know what, I've put my ships in a terrible position here. Oh, but that's coming up particularly well on the stream. Grey is your visual range, blue is your torpedo range, and red is your gunnery range. We may find ourselves wrong in some torpedoes as we've kind of charged forward with our light cruisers, which is pretty ballsy. I'm going to get the destroyers to really speed up to see if we can get close engagement. It's too distracted with is that really a battleship? No, I don't think so. So we can see, without even getting orders, these guys have fired their torpedoes at them, but the dudes are changing course. I don't think that's going to be a hit. Yeah, and you get a trail of what's happening up here on my side. So our light cruiser has managed to hit the what it thinks is a battleship 3 times. I don't think this is a battleship at all. Oh. You never know. B2, I think that's a destroyer where it's going, yeah. And they've now sailed out. Sailing away. We'll continue to pursue with our destroyers. Because it's we're in a bit of a night fight. And we want to get nice close and fire all the torpedoes we can at them. We can catch them up. Although coming from behind is not a great idea. Just have to hope that once the day comes, it's just coming now, that'll clear up the ridiculous dots on the screen. And we'll have to look at how I can deal with that. I wonder if it's... Tell you what, let me try and tweak something. Let's finish this battle and then we'll worry about it. Hope this will be clear enough during the day. Right, so we have indeed found that these are not a battle cruiser, these are 2 light cruisers. We're up against the Barry class. So they've got a couple 6-inch guns, broadsides of 3, 2.5-inch belt. And ours come up. Come on. There we go. We've got very similar. I think we've got an extra gun on our broadside, a 2.5-inch belt, so we're pretty like for like, but we do outnumber them, which I think is going to be to our advantage, as long as we can get kind of our guns to bear. Watch our destroyers don't get too chewed up. They really don't have much in the way of firepower. They do have torpedoes, and they're making a bit of a run for it here. Should also get my cruiser division to speed up. Oh, just one more knot. Alright. Alright, go on destroyers, do it for us. They've made their turn. I don't think we're getting torps away. But it has brought them nice and close to our cruisers, so we can hopefully put some beats down. Congo's having a bad day. Oh, we lost the Kigeo. But we received 2 hits and we took 1. No, keep out 1, but there's some more hits coming in. It misses. I wonder if we can now. Not quite. Oh, at least when day comes, we don't have that annoying buzz on OBS. Right, let's concentrate on this battle. I've been too worried about what things are looking like. So we are now within torpedo range. It's not a great position, but I'm tempted to get one of these guys. Where are you, Aspirin? Just to launch a torpedo at... Oh, I can't. Never mind. I thought it was a reasonable solution. I guess not. Really, you're going to get one soon, though. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Come on. I would like to fire torpedoes. Yeah. Try it. We'll see. Early game, in fact, most of the game, torpedoes are pretty important in killing off ships. Oh, no way. Oh, thank goodness. I thought it was one of ours for a minute. I take it back. In fact, it's fantastic. So the light cruiser, the Barry class, took a hit to the turret and caused a flash fire, and the ship just blew up. Gone. So that is a fantastic start to us. For us, I should say. We now outnumber them 2 ships to 1, plus a whole bunch of destroyers. Let's see if we can turn up, try and catch them out. Get them to turn into something. Ideally, we can get a position to get another torpedo in would be ideal. Hard to hit light cruisers, they are fairly nippy. We're getting pretty close as long as our destroyers don't get munched. Oh, took a couple hits there to Tiger, he's probably not in a good condition. Is he? That's the group behind. Can I not select him anymore? Hang on. Yeah, there you go, he split off. Sometimes you get these funny little moments where you can't quite select what you want. Right. Oh, you cannot fire your torpedoes. Why not? Are you out? No, you've got 4 torpedoes. Interesting. Okay, just pull away if you're having a bad time of it. Dara looks like to be in a reasonable spot, and our light cruisers look 1, 2, 3, 4 hits there with our. Actually, that was 1 4-inch, 1 5-inch, and 1 6-inch. Maybe not the strongest. It's not, but at this range, you know, we're going to be punching through whatever armor they've got. It's not going to be a long brawl. All right, yeah, fire off your torpedo, see what we can get done. Oh, or alternatively, the same thing's going to happen. So I think they have a design flaw in their light cruisers. CL Barry class turret E hit T flash fire, ship blows up. Bang. That's going to be two light cruisers for a cost of 1 destroyer a minute. So this is asking if we want to detach our light cruiser to pick up survivors. No. Nope. I wouldn't mind doing it with a destroyer, but I don't want to do it with my light cruisers because they've got a job to do. Try and chase down this. Right, let's have a quick look at the Tiger, see how damaged he is. Because, you know, I'd quite like to... Wow, how are you alive? Or am I reading this the wrong way? Hang on, let's look at a healthier one. Yeah, no, I'm reading that the right way. So if your meters fill up, you're sunk from structure damage or flotation damage. This guy is barely holding on. I would like you to try and run away home. Just run away over here to the land. Bring you guys down, slow you down a little bit. And we'll push on. I think let's have a quick check of our damage situation on our light cruiser detachment. Aspirin's taking a little bit of damage, 28%, but nothing to worry about. I don't think there's any flooding. Yeah, no, it says there's no flooding. That's good. Let's just push up. See if we can't. Probably can't chase down this last destroyer, but we'll give it a go. Right, just go into run. Wrong button. Run continuously. Do I want to detach my Siskos? Yeah, do that. Pick up survivors. Right, I think that destroyer's getting away. So we'll just call that good hunting and head home, I think. Please, everybody, go home. Excellent. Off we go. Apart from our guy getting survivors, but he hopefully won't be bothered. Oh, that's right, let's put up the game speed to ultra fast. Can be a bit finicky sometimes to end these engagements. What I might do is tweak with my image settings to see if that helps. Yes, please go into the port. Yep. Now we just go wait in slow coach. Ah, there we go. Scenario is over. So then you get a little outcome of how the scenario went. So we can see that, and it lets you know obviously what people had. So we had 2 light cruisers and our 6 destroyers. So we had 7 destroyers somewhere. Weren't in the fight, but we did sink with 2 light cruisers and get a nice little 20,000 points. Excellent. And if you want, you can jump into ship details and we can have a look at the Anaconda. And the really kind of cool thing of this game is you can go in and look at, here you go, look at the little log. It gives you a blow by blow how it kind of outperformed. You know, it launched a torpedo, it scored a hit, received near miss, it was hit by 6-inch shell, there you go, 6-inch shell hit the turret back in action, so on and so forth, and then 6-inch shell hits turret, flashfire blows up. It's really cool, you can see, you know, blow by blow exactly what happens to all the ships. Excellent, and then we want to leave the scenario and go back to the menu. We get, it's all tweaked out to 1400 victory points. That adds to our tally in our war. Parliament authorises additional war loan. The naval budget increases. Fantastic. And we've had a research breakthrough. We'll have a look at that in a moment. So we are national accuracy improvement and increase in shell damage. Excellent. Oh, but we lost one of our corvettes who are on trade protection to an enemy sub. Disappointing. Here's your kind of submarine warfare overview. So we sank 3 merchants. No, the enemy sank 3 merchants. We sank 35. That's pretty good. We sunk 1 enemy sub and we lost 1. They reckon they got 7. We got 34. Wait. And we're causing fuel shortages in Italy. Although I'm not sure many people are using oil at this stage. And our allies will just give us some random victory points. At this point in the stream, I decided to change my desktop resolution, obviously with an aim of curing the visual bug that wasn't a bug. On the plus side, I think it increases the text size, but makes it a little bit easier to see in these videos, so I'll keep it at a lower resolution, but I'll just kind of skip over that process and then throw you guys back in when we get back to the action. So, again, I'm not 100% sold on what the kind of pro research strat is. But currently I'm focused on torpedoes and destroyers. Fair enough, and naval guns. Kind of gone medium for a lot of the gradual improvements. Yeah, that's it. There's probably much smarter ways of min-maxing this, but I'm yeah, not a favour of that. But I've gone for standard maxed research budget. And just in case you're interested, so doctrines, this way you can kind of, again, tweak your forces somewhat. You can change your ship ammo loadouts and what their preferential shells are. I must admit, I very rarely change these. They seem to kind of work okay. What I have done is put on gunnery and torpedo warfare for our training priorities, which is costing us a good chunk in maintenance, but again, I'm going for quality over quantity. So let's just keep going. So we're into February 1909, another engagement. Fleet size, ooh. Might see some of our bigger ships in action. Let's have a go at this. Oh, boo. They've declined. Alright. Don't even have any battleships. War could be short-lived. Wow, 3,000 points, just not interested. So our light cruiser intercepts Italian raider running the blockade. Wonder what they're running it with. Let's give it a go, because I want to see. Right. A couple of light cruisers. Where are we in terms of a day-night cycle? Middle of the day. I might see if I can just faff around till night time to see if that's solved our issues. Okay, so we don't know where the enemy is to begin with, so I tend to just let it play, and hopefully we should run into them. Also, there we go. Another good trick is if you put the game speed up much faster, it auto drops down to, I think it's normal when you see an enemy. Okay. These guys were obviously on a kind of search formation, so I haven't talked about today. For each of the formations, again, the AI creates the formations, so you don't get a choice over that, but once they're in the battle, you can decide what the role is, which isn't important really unless they're on AI control. But more important is what their formation is, so we'll get them to the line ahead. That's absolutely fine. You can also change speed and course and all sorts, but you can do that from here as well. Let's go. Really? 21 squad max? Guess I'm early game. My light cruisers aren't that nippy. Let's just kind of cut across, see what we've got here. We think it's a AV. Is that like a tender? I need to... I might be right. An AV is a seaplane tender, if I'm remembering correctly. Just run for a little bit. Should I think it'll auto stop when we open fire. Now he's running from us, which is a good sign. Oh, it's just a transport. Alright, well, this guy's gonna sink. So, it's just a merchant ship. They have no guns, we're just gonna run them down. I stand corrected. I didn't think they had any guns. Apparently, the merchant ship has 2 medium-class guns. Interesting. We actually took a hit. Are you launching a speedo? Because that will see them off. I'm disappointed by that. No, you're not. Do this. Oh. Double tick. Right, it's on fire. I mean, it's pretty much sunk, isn't it? Why not? Let's hit them with their torpedo. For funsies, if nothing else. Right, and then you can kind of come away. So, smoke, and oh, nice. You missed with one though, come on. Oh, I was narrow-ended before it got to night time. Okay, that's fine, we'll keep going on. That was a bit boring, but easy, easy points, so I'll take it. Demonstration. So there's obviously 2 ways to win a war. One is just lots of battles and get lots of victory points. The other one, make this a little bit properly, is you can starve them out. So using submarine warfare and blockades, you can get kind of revolutions and all sorts to kick off. Machinery development, so 1% weight, sub reliability. That's nice. 35 enemy merchants. That is good. And they've got some surface raiders as well. Okay. We'll probably get some points from allies. No. So we're up to 1 million. That's actually quite nice considering we are still building that guy. Probably if we look for what we want next. Oh, I'd like to get the next destroyer tech so I can get some updated destroyers. Probably where we're going to go. And then we're probably going to have to these were refit in 1901. Yeah, I think we might have to look at retiring some again. It's always a shame not keeping ships around, but like I say, it's just not really much use to it. They're just there as victory point, cheap victory points when they get outclassed in the fight, as they inevitably will. Okay, let's just keep going so you can get a resolution of this war. Coastal bombardment. We've got... see if we can get our big guy out. Yeah, we'll take this. I bet it's just going to be a cruiser force, though. Usually is. Yep. We have our heavy cruisers. Got the... These guys are pretty good, and they did a good job for me in my last war. So we got, you know, 10-incher guns, reasonable armor, and a fantastic thing about this game, the ship designer, which we've not, obviously, unfortunately, not got into yet. Oh, yeah, -1. But it gives you info. So this, so look, this is for my secondaries. So it'll tell you what inch of armor they'll penetrate at what range. So, you know, 9,000 yards, we're only really penetrating a couple inches. Whereas if you look at our, let's say our main guns, look at 10 inches. So it shows the belt, and obviously once you get into the plunging fire, which happens when you're very far away, it penetrates the deck as well. So we have a look at ourselves. So we're 4.5 inches. So if we were fighting ourselves, we would have to get within 7,000 yards before we'd be able to punch through our belt armor. So it's cool. It helps you, you know, decide what you're building when you build these ships as well, in terms of how heavy to go with the that armor. So there's our target there. So we need to sail back and forth until we blow the smithereens out of that. Just head over in this direction, see if we can spot any opposing forces. I must admit, these fights are not always balanced. Sometimes you're massively in favour, sometimes you're massively up against it. You know, sometimes you'll be pitched with 2 destroyers and that's it, against a couple of light cruisers, for example. Don't expect to always have a winnable fight. And also, because you get this spotting range, you can sometimes quite unknowingly walk into trouble. Right, this guy's not doing much. I think this might be like a transport, to be perfectly honest. Let's get my destroyers to be a bit more screeny. Break you off. So these are starting, so you can see here they're under AI control just in a support role for my armoured cruisers, or my heavy cruisers. And you can just click off and say, nah, I'm going to take control myself. Off you come. Cheer speed, 16, yes, these guys will get out in front. Oh, we think it's a destroyer, fair enough. And a corvette down here, so fairly meaningless. To be perfectly honest, we will mop all these guys up if that's really the best they've got. We'll send our heavy cruisers towards the target. Send our destroyers in the direction of the corvette, and our light cruiser just coming down the top here. We'll say hello to the destroyer. Let's run forward a little bit. We've spotted another unknown ship. Oh, this guy down here. Given that he looks like he's also running away, I'm not particularly afraid. So, I mean, Italy is really going to be our whipping boy here. Then the next kind of, when we get a bit stronger, it'll be trying to take on France, and then the ultimate big boss is going to be Great Britain, as it usually is in Rule the Wave 2 games. Okay. Yeah, come on, destroyers, gonna land some hits. I know you've only got 4-inch guns, but still. See if you can't catch this destroyer before it goes into port. Well, currently not hitting anything in the slightest. Oh, we'll let him go. We'll sink the merchant quite happily. She's going to go down. We'll probably put a torpedo in her. Maybe? Oh, nah, she's dead in the water. She's going down anyway. These guys just to cover to make sure no one's going to come lead us any nasty surprises. Yeah, just tell you what I'm going to do is get these guys to hold fire for 10 minutes, which is just a little blunt here, just so we don't waste our ammo on that merchant ship who is already dead. And then I'm going to kind of get these guys down, just to save me too much hassle. I'll get them go at fairly low speed. Eventually they're just going to have to sail back and forth on this coast until the bombardment target is dead, which can be a little bit irritating sometimes. Oh, 4-inch coastal battery. Okay, get out of that. I mean, it's only 4 inches, but still, we do not need to be taking that fire. Should demolish this fairly. I mean, we've got, so, well, if we get full broadside, it's like 12 10-inch guns we've got at essentially no range whatsoever. Let's get this light cruiser just a screen for our heavies. Make sure nothing gets tried on it. Don't sally out with some destroyers. Right, that's the target, the bombardment target done, and we can just head home. And hopefully sink. There we go. Sink the patrol boat on the way. Good. So you don't get, unless you get the massive explosions or you really overkill a ship, you don't get the X ship has sunk notification. You've really got to kind of essentially work out for yourself. I'm going to put these guys back onto support for my heavy cruiser, and then get my heavy cruiser to head for home. That's a respectable kind of, just a cruise. Cruise home's fine. Yeah. So early game, it's it's a bit easier. You can and especially things get dead in the water. You're like, well, they're not coming back. Some of the later ships, it's a lot easier to kind of see that they're not going to make it. But it gets a lot more interesting when you're picking fights with dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, and you're like, well, I've put 2 torpedoes in it. It's limping away. Is it going to make it back to port? Is it going to sink on the way? Should I press the attack? That's when it gets really interesting. You've got to make some significant decisions, and then you do get to feel a bit more like a real naval commander making these calls, whatever information you've got available. I get you guys all to go home. So when the question comes, what's going to happen in this war? Oh, you missed it. Yeah, go and support. I'll wait. I'll tell you what. I'll wait till we're back at the map, and then we'll talk about what we want to get out of this first war. And you guys go. Oh no! Yes, go in. There you go. Nice victory, but a fairly small, low fry engagement scenario. So this is what you get when I was talking about being able to influence when we sue for peace, but not actually control it. So the enemy has sounded us out about negotiated peace, gaining some disputed port areas in some of their colonies. Kaiser wants to know your opinion. So we can be bullish and say, no, we're going to crush them. We can say, okay, but only if we get a really good deal now. Or, yeah, just take whatever you can get. Now if we go, can I go to map? No, we can't. Right, I'm going to say, we can crush them completely, because we can. And look, even though that's what I said, they took peace. So you go, you're not in 100% control, which I think is interesting. Can be very frustrating, but is interesting. Our side gaining large territories and considerable war rep. So, oh, that's rubbish. So we essentially scored 4 points worth. I think the maximum you can get is 20. And Italy has nothing worth 4 that we can take, essentially, because we stripped them of a load of the cheaper stuff in the med, and everything they have left is over 20. Is over 4. So we're just gonna have to take nothing, and that'll get turned into war rep, and we'll get some more money. Yep. But also, because we're no longer at war, like in real life, the naval budget gets slashed, so we'll have to look at that. Ooh, we can now get triple turrets. Ooh. This is, of course, as we're in the middle of building a number of battleships. Always the way. Always the way. And that's a really interesting part of this game as well, is where this constant delay between the tech you've got and the ships you're building and the designs you have, and trying to balance it all makes some really good decisions. So, sorry, zoom around a bit crazy. Yeah, so in terms of, like, say, only Italian possession, I think we can take Sicily. There you go, which is worth 12. So we'd have to get a peace deal worth more than 12 to be able to nab that. And then also we can't take any of their home areas. Yeah, so we can. That's the last chunk of Italy. I'd like to grab it at some point. But do we really have no other overseas holdings? No, they do not. Okay. So, peace in our time. So that generally means that we're going to put as many ships as we can onto into reserve or mothball. So happily mothball all my corvettes. Essentially, the difference here is how good it. So for a start, reduces your maintenance, and it also reduces, but it has a negative effect on your crew quality that you can maintain. Let's we'll keep our big boy in active service, and probably mothball our dreadnoughts. They're becoming a bit obsolete. and then say, let's throw a couple of these guys just into reserve. Let's put our destroyers into reserve. I don't want to completely wipe out their crew quality, not until we get a better ship to replace them. Do something like that. It's definitely not min-maxy. Normally I'm a lot more aggressive and just putting a whole bunch of stuff into reserve. But it's not too bad. Gets up to 3.8 million a month spare, which means we can also resume construction of our Budapest. Which we'll do. Okay. And we've got some change. Hey, the Babenberg's commissioned. Torpedo tech. I really want the next level of destroyers, but we haven't got that. ASW. We're just, you know what, I'm just going to put you straight into reserve fleet because you're already rubbish. Here's a question: is if we've got some money to spare, well, no, what we're going to want to do is build up a bank of funds first. Let's save up to maybe, I don't know, about 60k, something like that, and then we'll see what ships we want to buy and design and embiggen our navy with. Okay, it's just an event to make our dock size bigger. So each country has their dock size, you can see over here, and that dictates the maximum ship you can build. Now you can build in other countries' docks, but obviously, which is if you go to war with that country, they impound your ship, so it has its risks. New torpedo, cool. Pushing forward. Italy has proposed a security arrangement. No. Because I'm going to keep beating you up. You're my whipping boy until we decide we want to take on France. So we can look at, speaking of how we're going to take on, we can look at the Almanac, which is a great tool and shows you how you compare. So we've currently got 2 battleships and 1 building. Britain is obviously stoked ahead. They're going to have 5 for a total tonnage of twice what we have. Germany is going to have only 1 more, but his are a lot bigger. And USA is getting out there. But you can see we are, budget-wise, we're kind of comparable with kind of France, Italy, Russia. So that's the level we're playing at the minute. We'll see if we can push up a little bit. Yeah, France definitely has us pegged on current ships. But that's really who we want to go after next. And I think I will stoke the fires of war if they head in that direction. Hopefully we can get our newer ships, and we are spying, so high intel means obviously you're more likely to get steal tech and things from them, but you're also more likely to get events which cause aggravation between the 2 nations. And that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. As I said, this is from live stream footage, so if you are interested in joining us on Twitch, then do check out for the link below in the description. Otherwise, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.